name's Bond. James Bond.
Hi guys, Rob here from Dublin. Really love the podcast. Yeah, GoldenEye. GoldenEye is a funny one. I am a huge James Bond fan, and for whatever reason, I don't love this film. I'm not really sure why. I really like Tomorrow Never Dies, which has a much sillier storyline and a much sillier script, but I just find it to be a much more entertaining movie. But this one, I don't know, it never really grabbed me the way some of the other Bonds did. I think the music by Eric Serra is really bad. I think Pierce Brosnan is really good in it, and I think all the cast are really good in it. There's just something about it just didn't quite grab me. I obviously love Martin Campbell's other James Bond movie, Casino Royale, and I would have loved if he had come back for another Pierce Brosnan or Daniel Craig movie. But yeah, GoldenEye, it kind of sits around the middle of the series for me in terms of the Bond movies. I often wonder if people love the video game so much that they sort of convince themselves that the movie is as good as the game. I don't know, but yeah, it's not one of my favorites. It's fine. Thanks guys, really enjoyed the podcast.
Welcome to the Real Comic Heroes podcast. Your adventure into the world of comic book movies starts here.
Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another adventure of the Real Comic Heroes podcast. My name's Travis.
And I'm Patrick, here for some 00 once again.
A new 00.
Yeah, that is true.
A couple new 00s, actually.
Yeah. That threw me off guard. I wasn't expecting that. It's been a while.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, this is
1995.
95, yeah.
GoldenEye. So it's been a handful of years since we were last with 007.
Mm-hmm. We got a new face. Got Pierce Brosnan as 007.
An old new face, I guess.
What's that?
'Cause didn't they want him earlier?
They did. They wanted him, I think, when Timothy Dalton took over the role. So it was something with his contract with Remington Steele. Something like they had the option to do another season of that. They were like, it was like on the bubble, I think, of getting canceled or coming back. And so they wouldn't like let him out of his contract to go do Bond. And then, because they said that they were going to do another season or something. And then, so he missed the window and then didn't do another season of Remington or something. I think that's how it played out. It might be a little bit different, but some kind of shenanigans with them not wanting, him to go do Bond, I guess. So
Gotcha. Title, bit confusing because we've got, the golden gun.
Right.
Now we have a golden
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger. It's just a little much there.
The name is straight from Ian Fleming. Like he named his property, his estate in Jamaica was called GoldenEye.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the title sequence literally is showing us a golden
Oh
eye.
yeah.
So I thought it was gonna be like a tiger or something, like based on the eye we kept seeing. I wasn't. It's been like I probably saw this around the time it came out as like a rental.
Yeah.
Definitely I don't think of Pierce Brosnan as James Bond.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's always gonna be Connery because I saw that first. Thanks to my dad.
Sure.
So to me, Pierce Brosnan is the guy in Mrs Doubtfire.
I had the same note. He's always the smarmy, yuppie from Mrs Doubtfire. Yeah.
And I had that same feeling when he was in the spa swimming.
Okay.
With his hair slicked back.
Yeah.
Because it made me think of the Mrs Doubtfire scene.
Sure.
Where they have the drive-by or run-by fruiting or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's almost too gentlemanly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too smooth. Like, I don't feel at any point that he's gonna do something bad.
Okay.
Like
I kind of feel the same way about him as like Roger Moore. Like they both just look too prim and proper. Whereas like Dalton looks like a stone cold killer, and
Mm-hmm.
Connery, did as well most of the time.
Connery always gave me a kind of an a-hole jock vibe.
Okay.
Like, he could be smooth, but there was something off about him.
He looked like he didn't belong in the like high society. Like he looked like he was infiltrating anytime he was in a suit, whereas Pierce Brosnan, like, he looks at home in a nice tux, and
yeah, he gives me a political vibe.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's the problem.
I like him in these movies.
He's not bad, but I just I'm not sold on the rough parts of Bond with him.
Right. Yeah.
I guess.
I think this was probably the first Bond movie I ever saw. This definitely would have been on VHS, at home. But yeah, I doubt I had seen any Bond movie before this one in its entirety. Maybe pieces here and there, but yeah, this for sure. I'm pretty sure this was the first one I sat and watched end to end. Would have watched a few more times over the years. We didn't own it. I probably didn't own it until mid to late 2000s, like when I started buying up Bond movies on DVD. So yeah, it's not one I really went back to much. I liked it well enough, but I never had the game, the N64 game. Like, I wasn't an N64 guy, and so the few times that I played it, I hated that system because of that controller, and so I was terrible at that game.
Yeah, my friend had it, my neighbor.
Yeah.
So I think I remember the game storyline more than the actual movie storyline.
I kept watching the movie and thinking, was this one of the levels? Because those, I don't know how many maps there were in that game, but definitely that control room at the beginning with all the gas tanks, and I couldn't remember how many were featured in the game, but.
Yeah, it would have been cool if they had like the radar dish as like a level.
I assumed it was one of them. Like, at least the inner, maybe not running along the catwalks and stuff, but I figured it was like just another control room kind of situation.
And I know they've redone the game before, but I only honestly remember like bits and pieces of the actual game. The most I played was probably the player versus player shooter.
Sure.
And oddly enough, they had a golden gun. As like the weapon that could one-shot anyone.
Right.
So that made it extra confusing,
And then it had like Odd Job was a character, right?
Yeah. It was a hodgepodge. It was just GoldenEye was the movie when it came out, so.
Yeah.
So they just kind of lumped it all in, but I can't think of a better Bond game. So
yeah.
They did something right.
Yeah, I'd say the game probably has more legacy than the movie.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I remember bits and pieces of the movie, like the big stunt sequences, but that's about it.
Well, speaking of stunts, like, it opens with a really great action piece. The bungee jump that turns into, like, him infiltrating this, secret base.
Yeah, didn't get the physics of it, but it was a very cool scene to watch.
Yeah. And it's a good introduction to the character. I mean, you see him doing all these stunts, running through this this dam and doing the bungee jump, and then getting in through the bathroom, and that's the first time you see him is upside down in a shitter stall.
Yeah.
But
I like that he could get that grate off and slide down without that guy noticing.
Yeah.
That's some good reading he was doing.
Yeah. And that's where he meets up with 006, and so it becomes like the two of them on a mission together, and it's a fun sequence, like running through. They're setting up timers, they're exchanging like one-liners with each other, and you get a really great standoff with like the Russian army and 006 and 007.
Yeah, it was it made me want a 00 movie.
Okay.
Like just a group. Kind of like, I guess to an extent, like Kingsman, where there's like a group of like
Oh, yeah.
agents like trying to do something.
Right.
Because I kind of like the idea of like a team
Mm.
of double O's and just them being awesome, but maybe they're awesome in different ways.
Sure. That would be kind of cool to have like after this next Daniel Craig movie comes out, it's going to kind of be the end of his storyline anyways. At least that's the way they've been telegraphing. So yeah, like what do you do after that? Like maybe a Kingsman style double O, movie wouldn't be a bad idea. Get a younger cast.
It's just interesting.
Yeah.
We've barely scratched the surface of the double O program.
Right.
And it's been how many years?
Yeah. The few other double O's we meet, I think all basically end up dead. Anytime that they're shown, it's like they're not usually long for this world.
And it's like maybe some of them are actually good at spy work.
Yeah.
And others are more physical. I don't know. They might have different. I don't know if you could do like a double O hacker or something. Somebody that like infiltrates and hacks over, like has to kind of like Mission Impossible.
Right. Yeah.
Have to actually be there or something. But I don't know. The banter and like the back and forth was kind of fun, so it just made me want that. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Sean Bean, as Alec Trevelyan. He's such a weird, Sean Bean has such an interesting career. Of course, he's famous for always dying, but it's probably.
I like that they use that to their advantage with the assuming he's dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's Sean Bean.
Right. Yeah. I like how this plays out. The whole Bond is they've got this standoff, and I love that he thinks to grab this cart that's full of gas tanks or whatever, and just slowly creeps across the room, and the sound of the squeaky wheel is perfect.
Yeah. It did make me laugh. It was very Austin Powers.
Yeah. Of course, that leads to the shootout, and then the thing I love is once he gets out of this facility, he's chasing after this plane to escape, and without hesitation, just drives a motorcycle off of this runway and just free falls to catch up with it. Just I love the no hesitation there.
Yeah, I was just like, oh man, we're going for it.
Yeah. And of course they do the trope of the plane, like, is it going to pull up in time, that sort of thing. So this is probably one of the prime examples, I think, of that trope.
Yeah. I mean, it's a classic Bond, unbelievable, like just pulling it out of nowhere. But,
I'd like to think of like
you know what you're getting.
Yeah. Like, what if it didn't work, and then the rest of the army guys that are up on still up on that elevated runway, they just looking down. It's like he just jumped to his death, like didn't even hesitate.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, I was kind of hoping I'd see some of them outside when he flew back over and the bomb was going off.
Right. Yeah.
I couldn't spot anyone.
No, it would look like either a matte painting or some kind of miniature. Yeah.
There's definitely some dated sequences, but
yeah.
What you gonna do?
I don't love the Tina Turner intro song and this opening credit, sequence. The visuals aren't terrible. There's a lot of Soviet era hammer and sickle, USSR type imagery. A lot of statues of, I'm assuming Lenin. Very, a lot of that stuff. It's fine. But the song I really don't care for.
Yeah, it's forgettable.
Yeah.
Just assume she was singing GoldenEye.
Yeah, I think they're kind of going for that Shirley Bassey GoldenEye vibe.
It all lumps together.
Yeah.
But I did notice one thing that just creeped me out, and that was the double-faced lady, and then the barrel comes out of her mouth and shoots. I was just like, what the hell am I watching?
Well, and it kind of, now that you say double-faced, that goes to, the 006 character, calls himself Janus.
Some god of two-facedness.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, the Roman two-faced god, which we just did Judge Dredd, and the Janus program is
Janus
the whole
project.
twin, two-face project or whatever
Didn't even think
kind of
about
code
that.
named. Yeah.
But I didn't care for the opening sequence at all.
Yeah.
I did have a question. What did you think about Pierce Brosnan's I guess barrel shot?
Visually, it's fine. The music, I think, is real bad.
Yeah.
Of course, they
seemed stiff to me.
Oh, okay.
He was straight up and down and turned. I don't know. It didn't have a smoothness to it I'm used to.
Yeah, I think Roger Moore probably had the best one because he does the spin and kind of crouches on down to one knee.
Yeah, I think that is the one that sticks in my head, and I know it's probably because he's done a million of them, but
yeah,
that's the one I think of. It's just more and that's the one I remember seeing people imitate, in movies.
I forgot, or that's not a big deal, but it cuts back to the present day, or actually it cuts back
9 years later.
Yeah, 9 years later, and I don't. It seems like a weird time jump that maybe you only need a couple years, but 9 seems like a lot. But I guess if you think about everything that 006 sets up, his empire that he builds, I guess it makes sense to have 9 years.
And I think they're also taking into account the end of the Cold War.
Right.
Because he gets called a fossil and a relic from the Cold War days.
Yeah.
And how things are different. And I think there's a few quips in there about, he used to pop in or shoot in and out of Russia.
Yeah.
Back in the day or whatever. So I think it's just playing off of the time.
Yeah.
Of, the fall of the Berlin and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just okay, we're going 9 years. That's interesting.
If you do the math, that would place that opening sequence in 1984, I think. If the present day is set in 1995, and so that would mean he's doing that mission at the same time. Well, 85 was A View to a Kill, Roger Moore's last movie. So it's just the year prior, he'd be running around, over in Russia doing this thing, and fine,
it's possible.
Yeah.
Looks like we're going on a scenic drive through the mountains.
Yeah, the Ferrari versus Aston Martin sequence, which I forgot how much the Aston Martin was in this. I think I always forget that he's driving that classic, Bond car in this opening sequence, and then he's still driving it in kind of first act of the movie, more or less.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to see that come back. But you get the during that chase scene, I think it's during the chase and kind of in this opening kind of area of the movie, you get the soundtrack, which is by Eric Serra, and he did the soundtrack the score for Fifth Element.
Oh, okay.
And I just don't care for it. Sometimes in the movie it's good, but when it's this chase scene, it sounds like when you got your Casio keyboard and you would just play with the preset, sound bites that would come with it. It's a lot of that. I just don't care for.
It's not memorable.
Yeah.
Don't even remember.
It just, for me, it just stood out as I don't like this. It's okay. if it was for me, if I could have just not noticed it, I'd be fine. Whatever. But it just stood out to me as being really annoying. So, but yeah.
I think only note I had on this is just bad race management.
Yeah.
So the
cyclists
running the bike race.
Yeah.
You'd close off that road.
Yeah, or at least have spotters,
Put some signs.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, they're gonna die.
It's a pretty good car chase. James is in the car with some lady who's supposed to be evaluating him.
Yeah, she's like a psychologist or something.
Right.
Which is, I don't know, that whole...
yeah.
I don't like that.
It's a bit, creepy.
He's hitting... he's enjoying the chase with the other lady, and then the other... I don't know, it was weird.
Yeah.
It's why are you even doing this? But somehow he opens a chilled bottle of champagne in the car and she just melts.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
It feels shoehorned in.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we got to get Bond into some action real quick here. It's James Bond.
Right. I don't know if because during that the person in the Ferrari is Famke Janssen, and I don't know if she knows who he is or if it's just, here's an attractive guy in a car that I'll race against, just for kicks, which wouldn't surprise me based on the way the character is through the rest of the movie.
Yeah, she may have just been curious seeing the car.
Although now that I say that, and of course she knows who he is because she works with 006, so they know who they're up against.
Yeah, 006 is probably like, yeah, just look for an Aston Martin driving like an a-hole.
Mm-hmm. I think I always forget, or I in my head a little bit, I cross this like chase sequence with the one in Mission Impossible 2, where Tom Cruise is driving, and then it's Tandy Newton is driving her sports car, and they kind of get it's very much the same sort of like situation where they're cruising through this windy mountain road, and then their cars get like kind of tangled up with each other, and they're like both spinning out or whatever. So like in my head when I'm watching GoldenEye, I expect there to be some kind of wreck, with the two cars.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's very reminiscent, especially when she's spinning out.
Yeah. It takes them to. I don't know where we are. I kind of wish there was a place card, like some text letting us know, like, what is this, Monaco? Is this is this? When I see these like mountain roads, I think the Swiss Alps, Germany, or is like an Italian, I just don't know where we are. So I'd like to know where this, like, because they go to a casino, and that's where the Bond meets Xenia for the first time, officially. But yeah, I don't know don't know where this is taking place.
Yeah, it's not very clear. I mean, I think I just maybe thought it was Monaco because of the gambling.
Yeah, that's kind of the only thing I can like name of a city that pops into my head, but I don't even know. I don't know where if this location is anything like Monaco. No idea.
Yeah, because there's like two things I know Monaco for. That's racing and gambling.
Yeah,
like casinos. So that's probably why I just made the leap. Because every place else gets a mention as to where they are. Yeah.
So not sure where we're at, but it is a decent, a gambling scene with Bond and Xenia just facing off with each other in this baccarat game. I think it's really well done. It just makes it like Baccarat is just a sexy game, The way this one's shot between the two of them, the looks that they give each other, this is, I think, a good moment using the score. It's just well done, and then he gets a great James Bond line.
Yeah, but then it gets ruined by Onatop.
Yeah. Xenia Onatop.
It's just it's its own parody. It's weird.
I mean, it's not worse than Pussy Galore.
No.
So at least
I guess it goes with her killing method.
Right. I love the he's sorry, she leaves. He goes to kind of follow her and see where she's going, and pulls out this like monocular, I guess is what you would call it. This device, zooms in, gives him like 1,000 times, zooming capability. Yeah. And he's able to take like screenshots. And when he gets back to the Aston Martin, he gets a message from Moneypenny, who has like received those images and sent them back to the car, with this like little Polaroid kind of printer, and like provided him with like names and details and information and like all this information. I thought it was a really cool use of this technology that I don't think really exists, but it's a fun, like, believable in this world, So
Yeah, it was kind of like having Alexa before Alexa.
yeah,
Like, was that a recording? Like, I don't think that was live. It sounded like she recorded the information.
yeah,
for him.
no, yeah, yeah. It was
Okay.
like she received the photos and then sent him like a just an audio file to
Yeah.
accompany the
Okay.
printouts.
Weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought there was gonna be more to it than what it ended up being. Like, I thought they were gonna be tracking the Manticore and
Oh,
this,
sure.
that, and the other. Like, I thought there was gonna be more than just, you know, the guy getting crushed to death, then moving
Right.
on.
Yeah, because Xenia pairs up with this admiral, and they
Yeah.
they take his boat to his bigger boat, and I guarantee the first couple times I would have watched this, I would have been completely lost as to what was really going on here. We find out that Xenia and her boss, the General Oromov, who was like the guy from the opening sequence, they are trying to steal a helicopter that's going to be on display. I guess that something that is done. Like they're showing off this brand new attack helicopter that's like it's blind to radar, it's impervious to electromagnetic attacks and all that. So it's like once you kind of like this time watching, I was like, oh okay, I totally understood like why they were going to the boat, what that had to do with anything. Well, that's where the helicopter is, and so it was nice watching it this time and really fully getting what was going on.
Yeah, I was just glad they didn't show the fake admiral.
Yeah, you kind of get a glimpse of
See his
him.
beard. But,
Yeah, which is clearly just that same actor, playing his own double. And then when they get
looked fake. So,
yeah.
that beard. Oof.
Yeah. I thought it was weird when they steal this attack helicopter from the ship. Everyone's watching, but there's no one reacts when they get in it and fly off. Like I think they should have shown a reaction of like, well, where are they taking it? As if that way they know. That way we know that they understand it has been stolen. Because as far as we know, like it's supposed to, fly, maybe do a little flight demonstration. Maybe they'd have had like an old derelict ship out in the water that it could blow up or something, like a weapons demonstration. But we don't know. I mean, they just, they all they know is that someone tried to rush the flight deck, because Bond shows up and he tries to, I don't know what he was trying to do.
I don't.
But yeah, then this helicopter just flies off, and eventually they'd have realized like, oh, I guess it's not coming back. But it might have been nice to get some kind of reaction about that.
Sir, we can't track it.
Yeah,
it's stealthy.
Yeah, something like that would have been great. Like, find out where it's going. We can't. That's literally what you wanted us to not be able to do.
Whose idea was this?
Yeah,
yours, sir. Damn it. Yeah, I was like, A, what's the demonstration supposed to prove? It should be able to fly, so that's not what you're doing.
You're right.
Well, how about you just prove that you can't track it and leave it on the ground? Just be like, hey, it doesn't show up, even, with the sensor being right here or something. Like, I don't know. It just seems like a weird thing to do.
Right,
because
you could have...
They didn't have any, other planes or helicopters around.
Right.
Rein it in.
Yeah, there you go. Like have two other helicopters nearby, and then this one shoots those two out of the sky, and then everyone, clearly then knows, oh, okay, something's wrong here.
Because then you can show these helicopters are on the radar. This one is not.
Yeah.
So. It was just silly. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It felt like, have you ever seen Short Circuit?
Sure. It's been a while, but
it felt like that, where they're demonstrating.
Okay.
Like a new weapon, like these robots that could shoot things, and one just gets away.
Okay.
And there's no guard there's no kind of backup that knows that something escaped. It's just gone.
Okay.
It gave me that vibe where a secret military weapon easily got out of your facility. Yeah. I don't know. It's just haphazard security. I don't know. It's just annoying, but. Yeah, they just fly off. No big deal.
Yep. And we meet Boris and Natalia. Alan Cumming as Boris is he's fun to watch.
Yeah, I was surprised with the restraint not to name her Natasha.
I wrote down Boris and Natasha because I didn't know what her name was until, maybe 20 minutes later when she says it, trying to get out of the satellite base. So yeah, like
they were close.
Yeah. It's this weird scene of like playful sexual harassment from Boris that now it's like it doesn't that feels icky, but
well, the good thing is they all know he's a creep.
Sure. Yeah.
It does continue the streak of you can't trust a hacker from Jurassic Park.
Oh sure.
So and both are kind of smarmy.
Oh yeah. That's when Xenia and Ourumov show up in the attack helicopter, and she just, they walk in, they get what they need. They say that they're testing the satellite, or they need to bring it online, so they have the guy, like, I forget how it all plays out. They need the guy to open up his vault so that they can get the keys and this like gemstone that is somehow involved in the
I don't
firing up process. I don't know.
Point of that.
Yeah.
It like shoots a beam to the screen.
Yeah.
I think. And that's all it does.
I guess is that the GoldenEye? Like.
Yeah.
But it's this like kind of brownish orange, diamond, I guess.
It probably looks golden in the light.
Yeah. I guess that's it. But the satellite is named GoldenEye. But yeah, I guess it's comes from that gem that is used to get this thing going. And then they just like lay waste to the entire facility.
Yeah. It's to frame some separatist group or something.
Right. Yeah.
That's the plan. And they forget one.
Right. And I
don't know why she thought she killed the person in the vent when there was like no blood.
Yeah, that's pretty weak. She just fires a couple shots, and I think you hear her scream, and I guess that's what indicates it. But yeah, there's no.
Oh, I didn't even pick that up.
I think I heard it, but it also could have been Xenia, because as she's, every time she's killing people, she's letting out, moans, or like she gets a lot of sexual gratification from killing people. So I couldn't tell if it was a scream of pleasure or a scream from Natalia. But I do like the fake out where we see her like trying to reach the ceiling access, to get into the ductwork, and then that's when Xenia comes in, shoots up the place, and then you find out she's hiding in a cabinet. So it was a good misdirect that I didn't see coming. I thought she just was in the ductwork and just happened to not get shot. So
yeah, I was in the same boat.
Okay,
because I think movies have trained us to assume everyone's in the ductwork.
Yeah. The I forgot how the Boris thing played out, because as they Xenia and Ourumov, they take control of the satellite, they redirect it so that it attacks the base in which they are in to cover their tracks, and then they leave. And then when Natalia is like climbing out of the wreckage, and this she goes through hell. I could never remember how Boris, what happened with him, because he sees them arrive, and then we don't see him again for, I don't know, half an hour maybe. So I couldn't remember, like, was he with them from the start, and he just, or did he like see them arrive and be like, hey, you guys need a hacker, So I just couldn't remember how he was involved.
Yeah, he was the inside guy.
Yeah.
But I was taken out of the movie by the plane crash sequence.
Yeah, that's very
miniature work. It
yeah,
was just so awful.
It looked that looks a little rough. That doesn't really hold up, but
like I know there's better miniature work. I mean, Star Wars did better stuff.
Yeah,
in the 70s. Like,
yeah,
I don't understand why it was so awful. I was just like, okay, and I'm watching a cheesy action sequence.
Yeah.
But luckily, there's a dog sled for
Oh yeah,
her to escape on.
yeah.
So that was convenient, not electrical.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was like, did they find Boris?
Right.
I thought Boris was waiting at the dog sled or something.
Yeah, I almost thought that too. Like, oh, okay, she's gonna find Boris over here with the dogs, and because I still couldn't remember like how he, fit in with the rest of the movie. But
yeah.
But then we kind of cut to MI6, and we kind of get we meet Bond shows up, and we meet I think this is Samantha Bond's first appearance as Moneypenny. I don't think she was in the Dalton ones, but so we meet her, and then we meet the new M, Judi Dench, and I love that she shows up here and like is still a part of the Daniel Craig movies later. Like I like that she, timeline wise, it's kind of weird, doesn't really make sense, but I do like her as the new M. She's tough and she's pretty ruthless. As far as
she's very calculated.
Yeah. And she talks about that, like she came from accounting, or something like that. So like she has a background in the numbers, but I'm sure through hard work and determination, she rose through the ranks and made it to this M position. And yeah, she talks about why they don't like each other. Bond sees her as just an accountant, and she sees him as just an old, relic of the old days. And it's kind of the same thing she says to Daniel Craig in Casino Royale. She says, you're just a blunt instrument,
Oh, this one, she actually calls him out as being a sexist misogynist.
Yeah. It's like, then why did you send that, your evaluator, to evaluate him?
I know. You gotta send like some like weird dude.
Yeah, why wouldn't you do that like in MI6 in a room, I don't know.
That too, yeah. I sent her to potentially Morocco on a romantic jaunt through the country.
Yeah. But I really like what was that?
That's just not a very good calculated move there.
No, yeah.
It's like, let's send somebody that might get seduced by the guy that seduces everybody.
It's like you're just trying to test whether he is charming enough to seduce this woman, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, maybe that's the test.
Yeah.
Does he still have it?
But yeah, I guess it's like
it's a weird test, but
it's a weird test. But yeah, it's like at some level, don't you want your spies to be able to be, smooth and I don't know. It's all a bit weird. I like the chemistry though that Bond and M have. They play really well against each other, I think. And
they kind of seem like they really don't like each other.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We get this, sequence where we find out that MI6 is like tracking all this it's playing out live what's happening with this satellite station in Severnaya, and of course we get the weapon of the 90s, the EMP, which is just it's like just a buzzword type. It was a big weapon in the 90s and kind of early 2000s. That there's always a sequence where they tell you what an EMP is and how it produces this electromagnetic pulse that shuts down all kinds of technology and stuff. So it's like that will get used in so many movies for the next 10 years.
Well, I figure that was done a lot because nobody knew how to handle computers screwing up potential movie plots.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's just get rid of them with this convenient weapon.
Yeah.
So I chalk it up a lot to that. Just
people
not, because computers just blew up all of a sudden in the late 80s, early 90s.
Right.
And became more accessible, and then in turn more of a pain in the butt to write a story against.
Sure. Makes sense. Yeah.
They do the similar stuff with cell phones later, where it's just like, oh no, my cell phone's broken. Or
yeah. Then we got
that awesome heat shot of Natalia.
Oh yeah.
Crawling out, and Bond happened to see that 2-pixel width.
Right. Yeah. We get I think one of the goofier Q scenes
Oh yeah.
As far as like the
Ridiculous.
other weapons that they're testing, it's
The
all
phone booth.
what's that? Yeah, the phone booth. Yeah, that
phone
one's a
booth.
bit slapsticky.
It's like Airplane. The movie,
Yeah.
rolling him out while he's stuck in there still, and it's just weird.
Yeah. And then they introduced the BMW, his new car, the BMW Z3, and I don't like that car.
No,
It doesn't
it's so
work as a
dated
Bond car. It's this, powder blue convertible roadster, and
now. It looks plasticky.
it does. Yeah.
Like, it does not look good on camera.
No. And in the few times that it shows up, like it shows up here, and then we see Bond driving it later, they don't do anything with it. It just feels like product placement. Like they got enough money from BMW to throw it in here because they wanted to show off their new, this new car. And I remember when that car came out, like it was a big deal. My mom's boss had one, and she would let my mom take it for the weekends and stuff. So I got to like ride in one of those cars like pretty soon after it came out. So that was fun, but like I don't like it as a Bond car.
Yeah. Well, I kept waiting for the headlight.
I know. Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Yeah. Got Stinger
first I thought it was
missiles in the head. Like why not? You end up giving the car later to Jack Wade, and then telling him not to play with any buttons, and then like he shows back up. Why not give him an action sequence where he's shooting down a helicopter or something?
Or shooting that gigantic radar that shows up.
Yeah.
Hit that antenna.
Yeah.
But no, he doesn't even show back up with the car.
No.
Yeah, it was weird. I didn't like that.
And I remember like hearing later about like this is a big deal that Bond is now driving like a German, car instead of the Aston Martins that he's had. I mean, he's had other stuff before. The Lotus was, but that was because they could do a gimmicky thing with it, So this one's just kind of weird that he's, he starts the movie out with an Aston Martin, but then changes to a BMW later. And then it'll be BMWs for the next few movies. So let's see. Where does he? So Bond goes to like St. Petersburg. Like goes to Russia.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's gonna look for her, I believe.
Trying to find
the survivor.
Correct. Yeah.
He's gonna get some kind of lead, in Russia.
And she's like trying to find. Does she? I can't remember. Does she know that Boris survived just because his body wasn't there?
I believe so.
I wasn't too clear on that.
Yeah. So she tries to. She goes to like some I don't know computer.
IBM store.
Yeah. She sends Boris an email, makes contact with him. They're going to meet up. Kind of same time, I think Bond is meeting with his contact in Russia, is Jack Wade.
Yeah.
And it's Jack Wade, played by Joe Don Baker, who was the villain 2 movies ago.
I was going to say, I thought that was the case.
It makes no sense to me. I don't like it.
And he's wicked old to be an agent.
Yeah,
still.
yeah.
Like he should be like behind a desk,
right? I kind of like Jack Wade as a character. He's he's a big bullish American, just real crass and he's a good opposite for Bond. So I like the two of them together. It's just strange to get the same actor who played your villain like 2 movies ago.
Yeah. I enjoyed the nicknames he gives Bond.
Yeah. Hey, Jimbo.
While they're fixing the car.
Yeah.
He's like, I think he called him Jimmy at one point.
Yep.
And like, it's just fun.
Yeah.
But
let's see. They go to Valentine. I forget his last name. But like.
Zukovsky or something.
Yeah.
Hagrid from Harry Potter.
Right. Yeah. Robbie Coltrane.
Yeah.
And like he and Bond have a past. Like Bond shot him in the knee a couple years ago or something. So it's like they're not friends, but Bond needs something from Valentine.
Yeah.
And like somehow Jack kind of arranges that or something.
I think he just knows where he's at.
Oh, right.
Because I think he said the last person that dropped in unannounced, it went home in like a air freight or something.
Oh, right.
So I think it's a surprise. But yeah, it's a weird sequence with Robbie Coltrane.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. Like, I don't know, it was weird. I didn't know how to feel about it.
What's weird about it to me is like it's really just a big scene for exposition. We just need someone to tell us a lot of information about this mysterious Janice figure who's kind of behind everything. About I don't know if he talks about Orimov or Xenia or not, but they start talking about the history of these Cossacks, kind of this group of people that were, if I understand the movie right, they're Russians who assisted the Nazis in World War II, and then after the war, the British turned them over to like Stalin, like to the proper Russian government, and then they were all executed. And so they're making it seem like the British did a bad thing by turning these people over, and they do say like women and children, so it's not just like a bunch of soldiers. It's like a real group of people.
I think the bad thing was England knew what would become of them.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the fact that they betrayed a bunch of betrayers.
Yeah. So you get that information, and then also Bond is working out some deal with Valentine they want to set up some kind of explosives sale.
It made no sense to me.
Yeah, some arms deal, and it'll go south. The money will make its way to Valentine, so he gets, he comes out on top. The explosives and whoever's trying to buy them, they'll get arrested and whatever. And all Bond needs in return is,
he wants to get set up with.
Yeah, he wants to meet Janice, right?
Or Janice?
I think that's what he wants. He wants a meeting or something with Janice.
Okay.
And so you never get any payoff on that discussion. There is no scene with a arms deal. Because the next thing is, I think it's the Bond goes to take his little swim, and Xenia shows up, and so they have like a little fight, sexual fight kind of, and then
so weird.
and then he makes her take Bond to Janice. So there's really no other than like an info dump from Valentine, there's no reason to have that sequence. That's all that's there for. And we get a little weird cameo, not even a cameo, but Minnie Driver, like as Irina singing this like "Stand by Your Man" song in this bar. So that's a fun little
cat.
But
that was weird. It took me out of the movie. I was like, "Is that Minnie Driver?"
Yeah. I think I realized that the last time I watched this movie was like, oh wow, it's Minnie Driver.
Yeah, I think what I took it as is that whatchamacallit, I'm blanking on. I think he set up the spa encounter.
Oh,
for James. Like he was like, tell whoever you gotta tell that I'll be here, but maybe not. And that's why she showed up there, because how else did she know that he'd be there? Like,
I guess that's possible. Yeah.
But that may have just been me connecting. How would she know to go there? Because it seemed so random.
I think as far as that goes, I'm just so used to all these movies. The villains, and they just all know where Bond is at every time. Bond is rarely, difficult to find, I guess.
I think it was just because it seemed to be so secluded.
Sure.
That I could understand if he was like, at a gigantic hotel spa or something.
Yeah.
But
I guess that would make sense. I guess he left it up to Valentine to let Janice know where he was, I guess.
And Janice sent her
right
to kill him, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Although he gives me the vibe that he'd like to be there for that moment.
Yeah. So maybe sent her to subdue him and
Yeah.
essentially just
I don't know.
flip the way it plays out, where he ends up on top, essentially. Yeah, it takes us to this weird like statue graveyard kind of area where I guess it's just this weird graveyard for old statues that are either taken off of buildings or
it was Cold War statues era. It's like Lenin and Trotsky or something.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But it made me think of Scooby Doo, like an abandoned fun park or something.
Sure. Yeah.
Like it gave me that vibe because he comes out of like a weird. Is that a train that he comes out of? Like it's a.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, they get on a train later, so maybe that's where it's parked. I don't know.
It's like a weird, skinny building with a lit up door.
Yeah.
So I don't.
I wondered.
At first I thought he was an alien. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah. Watching this, I wondered: is there a GoldenEye level on the game? Like, is there one where you run around this cemetery of statues?
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, in my head, all the levels of that game take place like mostly inside buildings. I think there's one or two levels that are outside, or you can at least get outside in the levels or something. So I doubted that this was a level, but I also thought like this would kind of be a cool level if you can like scramble on top of these statues and hide behind them and set up proximity mines all over them and get one or two little.
Back when they tend to keep things very angular.
Yeah,
not too much.
True.
Detail,
Yeah.
That's why buildings were always big.
Yeah.
Rectangles.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's is where we meet back up with 006. He kind of.
The big reveal.
Yep. Back from the dead, and they don't really tell you how they did that. Back in the intro, he appears to take a gunshot to the head. So there's no flashback. What's that?
It was probably a blank or something.
Yeah, I guess either a blank that would make the most sense. I guess a blank, or I just always thought maybe they, the general like moved the gun and just winged him in the ear, or like grazed the side of his head, but it would appear to Bond as though he got shot. So, but I guess if they were working together at that point, like I guess they clearly would have been. A blank makes the most sense. So, we find out that 006 has been kind of working from the shadows and the bad guy from the start, and you find out because of his background, he was the son of these. Forget what the first word of some kind of Cossack.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
So yeah, he wants revenge on England for turning his parents over basically to the Russians. So
yeah, because then his parents or his dad killed himself and his wife.
Yeah,
leave him orphaned like Bond or something.
Right.
But Bond's parents died on a ski accident or something.
Yeah,
at least that's the story here.
He says a climbing accident here.
Oh, climbing.
I think it's been a skiing accident.
Maybe that's what I'm
in the past, or maybe in future movies. They mention how they die. I think is always kind of one of those that kind of gets played with a little bit. But
it's a weird. I don't like the plan very much. It's very boring.
Okay, yeah.
It's a bad guy that's trying to get back at a country that made him an orphan, I guess, and that's pretty much the extent of it.
Well, and Bond calls him out later. He's like, your plan is basically steal money from a city and then release the EMP on that city to cover your tracks. It's like, you're a bank robber, you're just a common criminal. So that's kind of what this story kind of is. It's not a you're not ransoming governments to become the world power or anything like that. But
and his other, I think he tries to save it by saying that it'll wipe out all records in England.
Yeah,
but that's not how computers work. I mean, you can store information literally anywhere.
Yeah.
There is an internet. We see it. There's email. Governments can save stuff off site.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. to just target England and think that, oh, that's all the information.
Right. I guess the plan, is you target enough cities, because I don't think he's going to stop at England or London,
I don't know.
So
That thing takes forever.
Yeah.
I think somebody might get wise of what's going on. There's obviously other satellites. The U.S. probably has its Star Wars program going.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird. I didn't like the whole evil plot. It was kind of whatever.
Yeah, I think I've never really thought about it before and paid attention to the actual villain plot. But yeah, there's not much of one here. It's pretty thin. So
that's probably why.
You're kind of just, obviously you're in it more for the character stories, the 006 versus 007 and all that.
Yeah.
So,
because that's a big part of Bond movies is the grand evil scheme.
Yeah.
And it's not, and it's kind of just sad.
Well, but on the other hand,
I don't know.
That kind of might separate this movie from, how many times have we talked about there's a satellite with a laser and it's pointed at, these various cities and the villain's just going to use it to ransom this or that, or so it's kind of a nice fresh take. It's not just a movie about, generic, space satellite that's threatening, so I kind of like that this movie isn't about the villain's plot. It's more about the villain and the hero and that stuff.
Yeah, it's very government's the enemy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's definitely a switcheroo, but
yeah,
I don't know. It just didn't feel all that engaging.
Sure.
I was like, at one point, I totally forgot about what the point of it was.
Yeah,
I was
that's
more
fair.
interested in Bond and 006's
Sure.
kind of basically 006 just constantly saying, "Why won't you die?"
Yeah.
Which made me think 006 isn't that good.
No, there's many opportunities. Yeah.
The dart to the neck just drove me nuts. And then they elaborately put him in a helicopter that's going to shoot its own missile at itself. And,
yeah. I forgot what the setup there was.
Yeah, you get
but
shot in the neck by a dart.
Yeah, and then he wakes up with Natalia screaming at him because they've put both of them into this helicopter. And when I was seeing that, I was like, what was the point of stealing the helicopter? I thought you were going to use it for a long time, but here they are destroying this helicopter. So it's oh, okay, I guess it doesn't.
Well, they just used it to get the GoldenEye.
Yeah, I get that. For some reason, when they introduce it, I think of it as oh, okay, this is the weapon of the movie. It's this super helicopter that can't be defeated, or So I think at this point, I'm thinking, I was surprised that they just blew it up, but they want it to look like maybe Bond was stealing it, or somehow England.
It made no sense because he was the one there trying to stop it from being stolen, and I don't.
Yeah,
it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, and then they get out of it, of course, by using the ejector seat, and then they get recaptured again immediately. I thought by 006. I didn't know who this.
Yeah, I did for a second too. I'm like, well, at least they kept guards there.
Yeah,
to see it went through.
And
it was the real government.
You kind of you find out pretty quickly. I think that this is the actual it's the defense minister of Russia. He gets Bond and Natalia interrogates them. They kind of find out that. She reveals that Aramov is, it was him that blew up the satellite station, and then
and there's another GoldenEye satellite. She said there's another satellite, so
yeah, she does say that, doesn't she?
Oh, I bet she means satellite dish,
right? Oh yeah,
and not
the
actual
station.
satellite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out where that came into play.
Right. Then you get this.
That makes sense.
During the interrogation, Aramov just shows up and just outs himself and kills his superior, tries to kill Bond and Natalia, and then of course that's starts off this big action chase. It goes to from this facility to almost like a library where Bond and
it was the archive.
okay,
I think they call it.
Yeah,
with trapdoor floors for some reason.
Yeah,
that are graded.
But I thought of
So
this room, this little sequence reminded me a lot of the intro, where like there kind of is a standoff. You know, I almost expected him to take a library cart and try to do the same trick of like scooting across the floor, you know, because it just kind of felt just physically like the same type of scenario.
Yeah, no, he just dominoed the shelves and
yeah. So yeah, that's right, and that leads them to capturing her, and then
she falls through the grate.
Yeah,
for some I don't know.
Get her into a car and try to escape, and then that's of course when we get Bond jumps out the window. Yeah. I think that's when they tease you with the opening, like the two bars of the like da-da, the James Bond theme. You know, you get a little bit of it there. And then you like see these tanks in a parking lot, and there's like I finally wrote down like enough teasing already. Just give us the tank, because it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And he bursts through this stone wall, pursuing Oromov in this tank, and that's when you get
the strongest tank known to man.
yeah.
It just drives through buildings in an alleyway like nothing.
No, it's a great action sequence, I think.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Maybe the best tank sequence ever.
I'd put it up
there.
And we did just watch Tank
We watched
Girl.
Tank Girl. We've had Indiana Jones 3 had a good tank bit. I just watched Rambo 3 not too long ago, and it's got a big like tank sequence in the finale. But I think this is better than any other tank sequence I can remember. So
yeah, chime in if you got a better one.
Yeah,
because I enjoyed it, and I kind of wish there wasn't the weird comedic moments of the general drinking out of his flask the entire time.
Yeah, but I think
kind of laughed.
I think that comes with Bond like plowing through a wall and then like straightening his tie. I think there's just enough of that's not too silly. But it worked for me.
I laughed the first time, but then they kept doing it, and I think that's what annoyed me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I get it. He's freaked out. He's drinking. But yeah, I enjoy the chase and like all the shenanigans that unfold.
Right. It weirdly just peters out though. Like Bond is just wrecking. I think we're in St. Petersburg still. Like he's just rolling over cars. He's destroying monuments.
The statue is a bit much.
Yeah. Oddly, like he at this point he never fires. The tank.
Yeah.
They save that for a little bit later. But yeah, it just seemingly Oromov gets away, and then Bond in the tank sneaks up on them as they're like getting into this.
Somehow outruns a train.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And gets way ahead of him.
Way ahead. Yeah. And this train that like it looks like Sam the Eagle. Like the front of it is just has this big
it's like a beak.
Hawk, eagle beak on the front of it, like but it's all like flat black, very grim, like Soviet era. I don't know if there's really ever a train that looked like this, but
there's a few movies that involve trains and like weaponry. Like I think Under Siege 2, Dark Territory.
Oh sure.
There's like train involved with like, and they're trying to fire missiles from the train and keep on the move kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I buy that. Like there's a train that's always moving around, so you can't pinpoint somebody.
Yeah, and it's a really short train. It's like it's the engine up front and like maybe 2 or 3 cars. Like it's not some big, mile long freight train or anything like that. So it's totally believable as like this stealth attack train. I don't know. That's what it looks like, anyways.
That's literally on a track that it can't diverge from.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Yeah. Luckily, it's not around too long.
No.
I was expecting. I was thinking like I know at some point we go to a big satellite dish in the jungle, but so how do Then there's like this train sequence that I just did not remember at all. So luckily, the train stuff doesn't take too much of the movie.
Yeah.
But it leads to a good standoff. You know, the train plows through the tank after the tank shoots at the front of the train. Kind of. I mean, it definitely helps bring it to a stop. And there's a good standoff, another standoff with Bond and 007 or 006.
Yeah, what I didn't get was why didn't he just shoot the track in front of the train?
Yeah, you could have done that. Yeah,
Like that would have blown the hell out of the track.
Sure.
And tipped the train easier.
Maybe Bond figured like I want to disable the train, not fully derail and cause it to. I don't want this thing spinning and twisting out of control because they do have a hostage. So I think he just wants to stop the train to get on the train. I guess
that's while putting a tank on the track that just leveled an entire city.
Right. Yeah,
but safety first.
Right. Standard operating.
I don't know. I just thought it was weird you'd shoot a train engine and think that wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
With a giant shell, but hey.
Yeah.
Luckily that beak deflected.
Right. Yeah. It it lessened the impact. Yeah. At least it kills the engine without like without derailing.
Well, it does derail.
It does, but not like to the point where it's going all over the place. But,
I don't know. Just once, I'd like to see somebody do that, where they blow the tracks and not like a bridge.
Oh, sure.
To like disable a train. Maybe somebody has in a movie, but
right.
I've just never seen it done.
Yeah.
Shenanigans ensue.
Yeah.
Luckily, the general's still alive, and it brings the girl.
Yeah. Good standoff. They get into the. I'll shoot her. Bond says, go ahead. I don't care about her. And then
foreshadowing.
Yeah. And then Bond shoots the general, and he's like out of frame so fast that I kind of looked away and looked back, and the general's gone, doesn't show back up. They don't cut to him to show that he's dead. So I kept thinking, like, did Bond shoot him? Like, is he dead? Like, couldn't remember. I realized that he shot him, but I didn't know if it was like shoot to kill kind of thing. So I kept expecting him to still be alive and come back at some point. Because normally when you take out one of the main villains, you'd get a little bit more of a reaction. Just another shot of him laying there or something like that. But
no, not the best death ever.
Yeah, so it's Bond and Natalia. They're trapped on the train. Alec is about to blow it up. They've got just enough time where Natalia can do a little hacking with Boris, find out their location, kind of using the same trick that Boris showed her at the beginning of
I hate that.
Yeah.
It's a popsicle stick level of I sit on it but can't take it with me.
Oh,
what
man.
am I?
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's fine if you're goofing around in the office, but if that's legit the way you come up with passwords.
Right.
And it's the same as when you told her last time.
Right. It didn't change it.
Yeah. Changed it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but chair is not a long enough password. That would not get accepted, sir.
Right.
It's just so stupid.
Sure.
I hated that. That literally pissed me off when I saw that. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Chair is your password for this mega weapon.
Right.
Chair. And the one person you've told this riddle to
is still alive. Yeah.
and trying to stop you. Let's update that password, buddy.
She's only a level 2 programmer. She wouldn't have a clue how to get into the hack into the mainframe.
Luckily, Bond was there to explain the obvious answer as she's putting rear and butt and I'm like, are any of those things you can't take with you?
That is a stupid riddle. You sit on it but can't take it with you. Like, you can take a chair anywhere.
Maybe it should have been like a throne or something.
Yeah.
Those would be a little bit more difficult to take with you.
Sure.
But still, not hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just aggravated me to
yeah.
the end. And, it's silly, but it just little things like that annoy me.
Sure.
When it's just so lazy. I guess password security wasn't what it is today.
Right.
Now I have to write a novel for my password.
Right. That leads Bond and Natalia. They escape the train right before it blows up, of course. They have a little moment, in the midst of all this chaos. They find time to like start kissing, because Bond is that good. And that leads them to does that kind of fade into them driving in the in the Caribbean? Yeah, they're in the Z3 now. I think this is Jamaica.
I thought she said Jamaica, but then she says
Caribbean,
so it's very general.
Yeah, I think like I expected this to be Cuba because they realized that the final location is Cuba, and so you cut to this Caribbean area type jungle. They're driving around, and then they meet up with Jack Wade. He shows up in a little plane and says, "Okay, you take off from here. It's just like so many miles to get to Cuba." Mm-hmm. So they're definitely not in Cuba here. So I kind of think with the whole GoldenEye of it all and it being Ian Fleming's estate in Jamaica, I think that's what leads me to think that this is Jamaica. I kind of wish that the whole finale would take place in Jamaica instead of Cuba. Like if you're gonna go with the GoldenEye thing, just make it Jamaica. I don't know.
But I do like the line from Wade that you can't light a match without us knowing about it.
Yeah.
But you can build a gigantic satellite somehow and then put it under the water.
Sure.
They didn't build it underwater.
No, yeah, they
built it somewhere.
Yeah.
Because it was comically large.
It was.
10 times bigger than the satellite they busted at the Arctic station.
Yeah. The whole satellite base, it reminded me of the volcano base in You Only Live Twice.
Yeah.
So I kind of dig that about it. Like it's this comedically large villain, base of operations. That the thing I think was really funny is that when you get inside that satellite base, it's just full of office workers. Like, there's lots of khaki and powder blue and pink tops, coral tops. It's just like people on vacation.
I was like, hey, isn't that Janice from accounting?
Yeah, it's
like a middle-aged woman just walking around.
Just the most mundane villain layer. And then you got some people like guards and soldiers in uniforms and stuff, but
I assume that's just what they thought people that knew how to work on computers looked.
Exactly. Yep. Since we're in the era of more computerized crime, the criminals need to be well dressed.
Average Joe and Jane. Just
yeah.
So. Well, they had a good 401k plan, so
yeah. And the whole base, you're assuming this is all underground.
Yeah,
because it's underneath the satellite, but it's all it looks like a really nice lobby for a big business, complex. It just looks like this well-lit office lobby, It doesn't look it's not concrete everywhere. It doesn't look super gray.
Doesn't look like a military installation.
Yeah.
It looks like a legit office.
Yeah. So that was it's just the whole setting just felt so weird, and then just everyone walking around in white pants and
Oh yeah, you could tell me they're in a different country. They're just doing this all remotely.
Oh yeah,
and I believe you.
Yeah, but
it doesn't seem like they're one and the same.
No,
but I kind of took it that way.
Oh, let's see. How does it? Oh, they're Bond and Natalia are flying around the island looking for this location. They get shot out of the sky and crash, and then that's when Xenia shows back up. She rappels down from this helicopter, and then has a little has a little fight with Bond, and it's a good sequence.
She gets squeezed to death. Ironic.
Yeah,
but at least she went out doing what she loved.
Right.
She seemed to enjoy it when she was dying for some reason.
I don't know. I think that was...
She was screaming the same way she did when she was squeezing Bond. Now we get to do a horrible job of sneaking in.
Yeah. The satellite raises up out of this lake, and and then Bond and
somehow
Natalia
they find the entrance. I don't quite remember
how
they do it.
They slide all the way down the dish into the
Yeah,
center
but
where it's like that all the water drains out, and then you can
that's right,
get in
yeah.
there, and there's like a hatch, you know.
Good God.
Yeah. So they get captured again. There's a lot of Bond getting captured in this one.
That's what he does best.
Yeah. He
Like, we could have killed him like at least a handful of times.
well, 006
captured.
even says like kill them. And then when Bond and Natalia kind of separate, she goes her way, he's setting up these like proximity mines, and then he steps out and the guards like take him to 006 instead of just killing him like they were instructed to do. So
so the usual.
Yeah. Another standoff between 006 and 007, and a lot of good information here is where we get the kind of the confrontation about you're just a bank robber, you're just a common criminal, and then,
it's like no.
Yeah, but really, what the biggest thing that's happening in this sequence is the pen that Q set up. In the beginning, it's what 3 clicks to arm this pen grenade and 1 click to disarm it. And so the nice setup and payoff of Boris constantly playing with pens.
Yeah. I would have lost count. I tried.
Yeah. I think he would click it twice and then click it twice again. So it's like, so it still adds up to 4 clicks, every time. So it's a nice tension building, like,
I
sequence.
had forgotten how many clicks to disarm. I thought it was like another 3 to disarm.
No,
or something.
okay, yeah.
So I was like completely lost.
Yeah, good sequence where Bond is just, he's focused on this pen. He knows it's going to go off. He's able to slap it out of Boris's hand.
006 is like also looking like, why is he looking so intensely?
Yeah,
I thought he was going to figure it out for a second.
Right. Yeah, so that's that kind of, at this point, like, GoldenEye is kind of, Natalia has done some hacking of her own, and then they've also managed to like kind of trash the satellite or this dish a little bit. Boris is trying to get the actual GoldenEye, like get it back under control. So it's like really quickly the whole thing is kind of unraveling. And then this pen goes off.
Trajectory or something of the satellite, and he's like throwing a hissy fit. And
for some reason I was thinking that she changed the location to this dish, just like they did in Russia. Like I thought
I think it was like the thrusters she used or something.
Yeah, she just like moved it, out of the way or something. But I was expecting GoldenEye to fire on this base,
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, everything just goes to hell. The pen grenade goes off, which, luckily explodes some big gas tanks and that are inside this office layer. Lots of fuel tanks.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that.
Yeah.
I at least understood the liquid nitrogen or whatever that was at the end.
Right. Yeah.
To keep the computers cool, but
sure.
The gallons of fuel, not so much.
Yeah. That leads to another good action sequence. Bond trying to make his way to the, I guess, like the top of the satellite dish, because there's still something that he needs to damage.
I think he's gonna try to break the antenna.
Yeah.
Itself.
Of course, you got Alec is kind of on his heels, so you get a nice fight with the two of them, kind of a 00 against 00. At this point, Natalia is kind of out of the facility and kind of like waiting by the helicopter, I think, for most of this. But it's a nice.
Boris is held at like gunpoint.
Yeah,
while he's trying to stop, hack.
Trying to get control of GoldenEye again. Yeah.
And I gotta say, Boris, I need him in small doses.
Okay.
He was getting on my nerves after a while about his invincibility and like his whiny. She's only level 2. I'm a genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He got old quick.
Sure. Yeah.
in this sequence.
Luckily, he gets doused in the nitrous.
Oh, the liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, there you go. I always remember him getting shattered into a million pieces. That doesn't happen, and I was, completely. I guess maybe I'm thinking of Demolition Man, kind of the way that
maybe.
Simon Phoenix gets frozen, or T2. They also do the.
It's a common trope.
Yeah.
Freeze and then shatter.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Again, it's just movie training.
Yeah.
Set up your expectations.
Yeah. It's a good fight with 006 and 007. It ends up with they're on like the bottom of the antenna, and
very Star Wars.
Little bit Star Wars, yeah. But it's awesome. Like Bond gets just enough, gets in one hit, one more than Alec, and Alec starts to tumble backwards, and Bond catches him, and the great
just a gloat.
Yeah, just a gloat. Yeah, just a
for cold-blooded, man.
Yeah, it is. For England, James? No, for me. But I love that Alec doesn't die. He falls all the way down to the dish, and then is able to see the antenna, all that hardware coming crashing down onto him. So it's a good death.
Yeah, it's just I don't remember Bond being that like
ruthless.
Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he literally caught him just to drop a line and then drop him.
Right.
It made me laugh when it happened. I was like, okay, we just caught him to do that. Okay. That's a little petty. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Because you kind of expect it to go the way of like, they catch each other's arms, and Alec is finally like, let me go, or like does the weird villain move where sometimes they make the villain or make the hero drop them, that sort of thing.
Pretend to pull a gun or
that would be
that's the usual.
Yeah. So I like the way this one plays out because it is just so ruthless. Then Bond is able to Natalia has commandeered the helicopter that's nearby, and
he can hang on for another helicopter ride. He's got some arm strength.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was expecting Bond to have to climb up to the top of this antenna to get on top of the helicopter, but the helicopter is able to get underneath all of that, and the blades aren't chopping into the stuff that he's standing on, so that's a bit like how are you close enough to this helicopter? But whatever. He
gets blown off the pad by the sheer force of the blades.
Yeah,
like he's really close to the blades.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Then
there's not a million cables all over the friggin' place.
Yeah, exactly.
Either.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I mean, there's a little bit of Bond and Natalia, like they get off the helicopter. The helicopter, gets out of there. Seems like a weird choice, but
and I was like, wasn't that a bad guy?
Yeah. And they kind of have their little like, we'll just have a little roll in the hay, little make out session, and then here comes Jack Wade, completely misses all the action, but has all these Marines just at the ready, surrounding Bond and hiding in their ghillie suits.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, how long? I just picture these guys have been there for like a couple hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Laying around.
Yep. So what would have been funny if Jack just showed up in the Z3, just like beep beep, just I don't know.
I just pictured Bond like rolling her over, and they're like just on top of another Marine. Like,
just pretend I'm not here.
Awkward.
Yeah. Then ends with some terrible song. Nothing special. Just a weird like Bond and her like kind of walk off together, and some helicopters fly out of the scene. Yeah, there's just no like. It needs some kind of like stinger.
Usually it ends with them like insinuating they're getting busy.
Yeah. Which is, I guess is
the usual.
Yeah. Which I guess that's what this one, again, it's like subverting your expectations. Like it doesn't just end with them making out about to have sex, it's because the Marines are all there, I guess is,
It's weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
It's like you wanted to, but then you don't, and then you just make it awkward for everyone.
Yeah, so it just ends, you know.
I'd prefer Q listening in creepily.
Yeah, have some like little drone that he's piloting and creepily watching. Yeah,
well, that's what I like is creepy Q.
yeah.
So
The song that plays out this ending is it's by the guy that did the music for the movie. It's Eric Serra singing this. It's called "Experience of Love," and it's just not great.
No.
So
that's not how I want a Bond movie to end.
No,
like music wise.
Yeah,
it's like generic '90s, I guess, erotic thriller music.
Yeah. Well, and he does the exact same thing with the end of Fifth Element. Like it ends on a very similar song by the same, by this same guy, So I don't know. That's just his thing. But that's GoldenEye.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I had a good time with it. It's one of those like
that's what's weird about it.
It's got great action. Throughout, like I really enjoyed Pierce Brosnan as Bond. Like you said, like he doesn't look the part all the time. But I mean, we got this guy for 4 movies, I think. So, well, I think this might be his best performance as Bond. I don't think that's often like debated.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see the rest of his movies.
They do keep the villain having a disfigurement of some sort, or
the little bit of facial scarring on Alec. It's so subtle though. It's not super.
I know. At some point, I didn't even see it, like with the lighting.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, he does have a scar. I was like, where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, I kind of laugh thinking about how he got that. He's like jauntily walking out. He's like, yeah, I got 6 minutes. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn you, Bond. Luckily, it just got the one side of his face. But
and it's not even the side that like the gun would have been on if he'd have been shot, in the head or whatever. So that was, I don't know.
Yeah, it was just a random choice, I guess, to put it on that side.
You want to do the most villainous?
Sure.
This planet, these people, they are nothing to me.
You were made to be ruled.
The universe is power. Pure, unstoppable power. Come to me, son of Jor-El. Kneel before Zod. And I am that force. I am that power.
In the end, you will always kneel.
Kneel before your master.
When Xenia shows up to the Severnaya location, her and Oramov, and she just lays waste to everybody with that machine gun, just kills a room full of, seemingly decent people. We get one like establishing shot later when Natalia is kind of like observing, all of her dead coworkers, and there's the one lady that like she had one line earlier when they were, making fun of Boris, and she's here, and she's laying there dead, so you kind of get her Natalia's reaction to that. So I think just the killing of all these innocent people, because I kind of tried to think of like Alec doesn't ever have like a villain moment like that. I guess I'll let you go with your most villainous before I start talking about other moments. So.
Yeah, I mean, Zinnia is definitely the most hands-on or legs-on villainous.
Yeah.
But I'll give a nod to the Colonel guy.
Okay.
Oramov, his name is. And it wasn't. I think it was like his speech to the council with the minister.
Yeah.
And like just the ominous tone that scene had.
Yeah.
Where he finds out that there's another survivor.
Right.
And he's like, I'll take care of it. Thank you for bringing it to my attention or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought that was a good moment.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that sequence, but yeah, that is a good scene. It just sets up Oramov as you think is just the big bad in this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good scene.
Because later on, he becomes more desperate, where he shoots the minister.
Right.
And it's more of a panicky kind of situation. But there, I was legit on board with him being the villain.
Sure.
So I'll give it that one.
Okay.
It's the promise of violence.
Yeah. And what about most heroic?
I believe there's a hero in all of us
I just finally know what I have to do.
that keeps us honest,
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
gives us strength,
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards.
makes us noble.
And I know in my heart that it's right.
I mean, the most heroic, I guess, is the tank coming out of the wall. Like,
That feels the most heroic for sure.
It made me go, yes.
Yeah.
It was the most exciting moment, I guess.
Yeah,
heroic,
for sure.
But I'm gonna go with that just because I loved it so much.
Right on. I gotta give it to Bond on the train. He is presented with this option of, it's a standoff, and of course it's, he can kill the villain and accomplish his mission, or save one person. It happens to be this attractive lady that he claims to not care about, and then all that, but he does save her, and of course that leads to them then going after Alec.
I do like that she turns it back on him later, though.
Sure.
Or he's at gunpoint. She's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
There's our heroes and villains.
Yeah. I think as
This
far
is
as...
gonna be hard.
What's that?
I think this is gonna be hard.
For me, it's
hard time.
Okay. I'm at a 3, because I did enjoy it. I had fun with it. It is more of a character piece than a plot. What is the plot? What's the villain's plot? So I do enjoy that aspect of it. It's kind of a little bit of a refreshing Bond movie in that way, but it still had the big action set pieces, the big, like I said, the big villain layer with the satellite dish that, like I said, reminded me of the volcano base, and they haven't really done something like that before, for a while. There's always like a big room, but never like a big facility like this. So I really enjoyed it, and it's directed by Martin Campbell, who will go on to do Casino Royale.
Okay.
So, and then he also did the Antonio Banderas Zorro movies, at least the first one. I'm not sure about the second one, and Green Lantern actually. So he's got he's mostly got wins, but no, I had fun with this one. I'm glad I rewatched it. It's not one that's in heavy rotation for me, but I could see watching this, every now and then. So, just a little better than middle of the road. So I'm at a 3.
All right. Well, this is why it was hard for me, because I gave it a 4.
Oh wow.
Because I really liked watching it. Like, it was enjoyable. I could rewatch this. I love the bungee scene at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's something I always remember. I remember being blown away by it as a kid. Just the scale of the the dam.
Yeah.
And just the free fall, the grappling, the laser beam cutting. It was just everything you'd want out of James Bond.
Yeah.
And the tank sequence. I mean, I love the action pieces. If this had a awesome villain, I think this would have been a great Bond movie. I just didn't care that much about the whole villain part.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Xenia a lot more than any of the other bad guys.
Sure.
She was just twisted and demented, and I loved it. It was just such a crazy character.
Yeah.
It was uncomfortable to watch her sometimes.
Right.
When she's with the Admiral, I was just oh, I was like, God, I hope nobody walks in while I'm watching this. At a moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just had a lot of fun with it. It's definitely got its flaws, but
not
for the
many.
action,
I don't
it makes
think.
me not care as much about the flaws.
Yeah. I think some of its flaws are just a few of the production aspects, like we talked about, the miniature work and little things like that are just signs of the time, that you can't
They
really
do some good stuff though, which is
weird.
Yeah.
The
tank
stuff that
sequence
doesn't.
is insane.
Yeah, some of the more like sexual stuff doesn't really hold up as far as like the misogyny. There's definitely some really problematic stuff there.
But they even call it out.
They do.
Like,
that's true.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's self-aware to an extent, but
yeah.
I mean, maybe that's the way why it ends the way it does, where it's interrupted.
I just realized that M only has the one scene. She's just there to, I don't even know if she like fully gives him a mission. She's just there when, to see what happens.
Come back alive, I think, is all she
that's
says.
right. That's right. So she does kind of give him the orders to go ahead. But you'd think that there would be something at the end with her
usually there
overseeing
is with
the mission, something like that. But that's kind of weird that she's only in the one scene.
Yeah, she's got the recording that she's in, and then that's about it.
Well, that was Moneypenny. That wasn't M.
Oh, that's right. That was Moneypenny.
Yeah,
oh, man. Yeah,
so,
she does just have that one little sequence.
Yeah. But we'll get a lot more of her.
Yeah. She comes in a big way in the Craig movie. So.
Oh yeah. That would put GoldenEye at a 3.5, which totally feels right to me.
It's hard for me to give it a 4, but I can't get it any lower because I just enjoyed it that much.
Right on.
It was easy watch for a Bond movie. Usually I'm slugging through them like, oh my god, why is this still going?
Yeah, and it's not. It's weird because it's not a short movie. It's 130 minutes, so it's just over 2 hours. Yeah, but it doesn't really. I think the most bloated it feels is when he's talking to Robbie Coltrane. That whole sequence is a little like, we don't need this, Yeah. But I think even he comes back in the next movie, maybe the one after next. Okay. So it's like it's kind of setting him up as a recurring character, which I guess has merit. But
all right,
yeah. Let's see. So next up, we've got. Oh boy.
Yeah.
We got Barb Wire, a movie that at one point was removed from our list, and then the guest that we've got lined up was like, I forget, he and I got into a conversation about Barb Wire and said that he'd want to come on for that, so it's back on the list. So
you may want to use a alias then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll
so
see.
It's the Pam Anderson vehicle.
Oh yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
Saw
I've
lot
seen
of
it
advertisement for it on MTV.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Seen it once.
Okay. Well, I'm sure I'm in for a doozy.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, got anything else?
No, I'm just gonna enjoy the good feeling I have right now and try not to
Right.
think about Barb Wire.
Sure.
So let me enjoy this a little bit longer.
Bask in the glow. Maybe we'll do a character review next time, just so we can, delay the inevitable.
If Barb Wire shows up on that list, so help me.
Yeah, I'm sure she's in the top 100.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, let's get out of here.
Yep, let's do it. So I guess until next time, for England, Patrick.
For me.
Music!
It's your badge. Don't call me babe.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Find the show on Facebook and Twitter at Real Comic Heroes. All music and audio are the property of their respective creators.